Hello everyone, it's Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks very much for joining me. So today I'm doing an assembly tutorial for the Heart Present box that's available in Andy's store, also known as RLJLIVES, and I shall link that store in the comments box below. The die set I'm using today has been designed by Nicole Silhouette here on YouTube, and I shall also link her YouTube channel in the description box below. This is what the box looks like when it's finished. And I'll get started now and show you the die pieces and the cardstock cut out. So we start off with this piece. We just need one of those. These two squares, we need one each of these. One square is larger than the other one. This piece here has a single tab on the side and we need to cut that twice. This next piece has 3 tabs, as you can see there, and we need to cut that twice also. These two pieces here, we need to cut each of those twice, so we end up with 4 of those triangle pieces. This heart piece here, we just cut that once and it gives you this heart shape with the center cut out of it. This heart piece here, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now this bigger piece here, I need to talk to you about this piece. If you have a look at the die there. And once the piece cuts out, I'm just getting the right piece, you can see there are some shorter score lines there. And I'm going to indicate them in a moment. So one there and one there. So in my opinion, the orientation should be this way. The short score line at the top and the longer score line at the bottom. And this is now your right hand side piece of your opening box. To get the left hand side piece, you can't just cut it the same way and flip it over because of those score lines. It will muck up the way your heart lines up together. So what you need to do is put your cardstock the other way around before you die cut it. So that the die cut, and you can see there, is actually more prominent on the wrong side. But that will give you your left and right side. So I hope that makes sense. Now for this little heart here that's also in the set, that is used to create that heart opening. And we're going to line it up on those score lines with that shorter score line at the top and the longer score line at the bottom. In my opinion, that just looks more balanced to my eye. So I'm just going to hold that in place with some tape and run that through my die cutting machine. And you can see there that the opening's cut out. Going to do the same to the other piece. So I'm just zooming in here just to show you how I'm lining that up against those score lines and die cutting that. So there's my pieces there. I'm just going to fold along those score lines. And once that's all folded, you can see once it goes together that the pieces of the heart line up perfectly, as I'm showing here. Now there is another die in the die set. It looks like this, but we won't talk about this yet until almost the end. So getting started, we need the square with the tabs, the 4 tabs, and we also need the largest square. And I'm folding and burnishing along those tabs, and I'm going to glue them down. And I'm using art glitter glue, which I finally got my hands on. I've been wanting to try this glue out for ages. So I'm just gluing all those tabs down. And I got the art glitter glue from an expo here in Melbourne called Paperific, and they have that once a year. And I was excited to find the glue there. Not that I prefer one glue over another, but I wanted to try it, and I do like it. So once those tabs are all glued down, I'm going to put glue on top of those tabs and also over the whole piece, and I'm going to glue that large square directly on top. And this creates a nice, thick, sturdy base. And we're going to put that base aside until later. I'm not going to use it yet. The next piece I'm going to use is the smaller square, and the side pieces, the ones that have one tab on the side and the other has 3 tabs on the side. So we're just going to glue this onto the small square, and we're going to alternate between the pieces with the 1 tab. This next piece that'll go down will have 3 tabs, as you can see there. And the small square is facing right side up, and we're attaching the side pieces with the wrong side facing up, so that when that tab's folded over, it'll be the right side. So just alternating now, we're back to the piece with 1 tab, which is directly opposite to the other piece with 1 tab that's over the other side. And then the last piece to go into place is the 3 tabbed piece. And just positioning that into place, taking care to line it up correctly so that your box sides line up. So this is the box piece that we're working on. You can see there the tabs are on the bottom, and you won't see those in the end. So I'm just burnishing all those areas that have been glued. These tabs here, I'm just going to fold them out of the way. They tend to get in the way when I'm trying to glue the sides together. So there's the side tab there. I'm going to start gluing those together and putting our box into shape. And sometimes it's better to put it down onto my work surface so that I can burnish the glue so it gets a good hold. And I'm going to work my way around the box to get those side pieces all glued together. Now you could use double-sided tape if you like. I just prefer with my 3D projects to use glue. It gives you that wriggle room. And you just need to take care, make sure you line things up correctly. And hold the pieces in place until the glue dries. You can see our box is taking shape. Just getting that last tab glued in. So I'm just taking my time here, getting this last side in place, pushing it down with my burnishing tool, and there's our box taking shape. And with these larger tabs, I'm going to put glue on them and fold them in and burnish them. Burnishing really does help the glue get a good stick. So you'll see me do it a lot with my 3D projects. So just getting glue on all of these larger tabs, folding them in, and this makes the sides of the box sturdy and strong. So that's our box piece done, and we're going to set that aside for later. Moving on to these next pieces here, and we're going to be working with the triangles first. We're going to fold along all the score lines of each of these 4 triangles. And then we're going to take some glue and put glue on that part of the triangle that does not have a tab and fold it in. And then that makes that piece strong as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to all of the 4 triangles, gluing and burnishing. And once we've got all these triangles folded and glued, we're going to bring in these 2 pieces and start putting these folding side pieces together. So with the triangles, we get the tab on the long side, and you can see that the short side will match up with the short edge of the triangle. I'm going to put glue along there and put that into place. Then I'm going to go to the other end and do that end while this end's drying. So glue along the long side, and they really can only go one way. Otherwise your box won't go together properly if you do it the wrong way. And that shorter side matches up with that shorter tab, as I'm indicating here. So just gluing that into place, and then I'll do the same on the other end. Just making sure it stays in position. So glue on the other end and pop that tab down. And once we've got these two end pieces assembled, it's time to do something with this side tab here. So I'm going to run some glue along it, and also very close to the edge of the heart there. And we're going to fold this in. And our opening heart is taking shape. And that's our right hand side piece done. Now on to the left side. We're going to do the exact same thing as before. Going to speed this up a little bit for you. So glue along the long tab on the triangle, put it into position there. Do the same on the other end. Glue along the long tab, into position, and you'll see that the piece with the short tab fits onto that short edge of the triangle perfectly, and that's how you know you've got it in the right position. Just getting the last side done there, and then glue along the piece where the heart is, along that larger tab, and we're going to fold that in like before. And folding these pieces in gives that piece strength and also hides that long tab. Now we're going to get that larger square that we made earlier, the one that was strong, and we're going to attach these opening pieces to it. So we're going to run some glue along that remaining tab and press it into place onto that square. Making sure I'm lining it up. And then I'll check on the back to make sure it looks nice from that other side, because that's the side that's going to be seen. And do the same with the other side. Glue along the remaining tab and pressing it down onto the square, although I think on this side I actually pick it up. It was just easier for me to see to make sure I was getting it in a good position. And pressing it down. And I'm happy with how this is looking from the other side as well. This is where we're now going to glue our box in the centre. So I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to put glue on the back of it and glue it into place, taking care to line it up. So I'm being quite generous with the glue. Want it to get a good stick. And I'm going to push it down into place once I'm happy that it's all lined up and it's central. Once I'm happy with it and it's lined up correctly, I'm going to push it down. Making sure it gets a good hold. And there you can see that's how the box is going to look. Now what you'll find here is it won't stay shut, so I'm going to put some magnets. I've got these 4 little magnets, and I'm going to put them into position on the bottom of the box. And this is how I'm doing it. You do need to be careful with your positioning so that it opens and closes properly. So I'm just pushing them in underneath before gluing down, just getting them into position. Now the glue that I'm going to use to glue these magnets in is the Ranger Multimedia Matte. And you can see I have a big tub of it. I'm just going to put a dab of it onto the back of the magnet, and using my scalpel, because it's metal, the magnet will stick to it. I'm going to put the magnet in place inside the box. And do the same to the other side. The magnet that's on the front, that's only being held by the magnetic force. I'll glue that in a moment. So I'm just putting that second magnet in place on the inside, and that's how it finds its partner from the front. Now with the ones on the front, I'm going to leave them in place and put glue on the top, and then push down the side opening piece with my thumb and hold it there until it dries. And then once it's dry, you'll see that it's now on that inside piece of that triangle. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just hold it in place until the glue dries, and there you can see the magnets are out of sight basically on the inside. Nothing showing on the outside. And you'll see there that it's not quite closing properly at the top, and that's to do with the positioning of the magnets. So make sure you position your magnets in a good way so they don't interfere with the opening and the closing or leave gaps. So with this heart piece here, this decorative piece, I'm just going to snip it in half, and then we're going to glue it around the edge of the heart opening. Just makes a nice decorator piece. And make sure when you're positioning it that you take your time to position it properly so that it doesn't overhang and interfere with the box opening and closing. So I'm just taking my time here, putting it into place. And that's a nice finishing touch. Now back to this piece here that we put aside much earlier. We're going to cut that from acetate, and that's going to make a nice insert for our box. So I'll just show you how to put it in, and the way I have done it is the top and the bottom of this get tucked in. The left and the right sides hang over the edge, and what this does is it stops that acetate piece falling into the box. So you can't see the top and the bottom when the box is closed, and the side pieces there keep that other piece in place, the acetate piece in place on the left and right side. And having those left and right pieces hanging over the edge also helps you get the acetate piece out when you're opening the box. And the acetate's a really good idea because it stops the goodies or whatever you put into the box from falling out the heart opening. So the top and the bottoms just slide in there again, as I said before, and the right and left sides hang over the edge. When you close it all stays in place. Here is a box that I made before I made the tutorial. And I used a lovely piece of paper from a Kaisercraft 12 by 12 pack called Floral Romance. And I love the way this turned out, and the cardstock I used was grey. And I put pearls around the heart, and you can see there with the acetate in, comes out quite easily. And then just slots back in there. Top and bottom tucking in, left and right hanging over the edge. And this is such a nice gift box. It's a good size. It's 4 inches square by about just over 1.5 inches deep. The flowers are dusty pink from Kaisercraft, and the bling is called Champagne, also from Kaisercraft. This is such a nice little box. This one looks like it could be for a wedding, but you could decorate that in any style that you like. And you know, you could even maybe change out that heart shape cutout for another shape. That's worth looking into as well. So that's my tutorial finished for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching and that you feel inspired to make one of these cute little boxes, perhaps with a different shaped opening. Don't forget to check the description box down below for the link to Andy's store to where you can buy this die set. And if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really love that too. Thanks very much for watching today. Have a great day, and until next time, it's bye for now.